Tubers, Tubettes, various crazy people. I'm here with my buddy Jerry. Jerry and I are ex-neighbors. We used to live together over at Big Rock. And recently, Jerry had an experience with one of the hospitals here on the island. And so I kind of wanted to talk to him a little bit about it, where he was at, what happened, and what the end result was. So say hi, Jerry.
Hello.
Oh, and we're going to plug your YouTube channel.
That's right.
Too.
Jerry and Nelma in the Philippines.
No video comes for free. Remember that,
That's
folks.
right.
There's always a
the
catch.
fee. Yeah, subscribe to Jerry and Nelma in the Philippines.
Or else.
I stole the name from Geo in the Philippines.
All right, so what happened?
So, again, about 3 months ago, I got a wound on my foot. I stepped on something. I don't even know how it happened, but it was there for a week or two, nothing abnormal. One day I woke up, it was inflamed and nasty and skin ripping off of it. And of course, what did I do? I waited 3 days to see if it would heal.
Yeah, it's a guy thing.
Yeah.
You wait till it really hurts.
Typical stupid guy. No, I don't want to go anywhere. Yeah, it's not. So, 3 days later, I went to Holy Child Hospital and went into the emergency room, and they immediately panicked, and they admitted me right away. Met up with the doctors. The doctor, Dr. Yee, who I really liked there, helped me. Asked him for an honest opinion. He said 50-50, we're going to amputate 2 of your toes.
No kidding.
Yes. It was that bad.
Can I stop you there for just a second? Is I've been told for years, and there's been a gentleman that I was friends with back in the day. He's since passed from brain cancer, but he got an infection similar to yours on his ankle. And he, like you, he would manned up and decided it would be okay.
Yeah,
right? And
of course.
So, apparently, what happens with a lot of the lower extremities, when we scratch them, scrape them, cut them open, we walk through or drive through mud, water, etc. And there's some nasty stuff in the ground out here.
There is.
And so I guess just as a real quick interjection here, I just want to mention that it's super important if you're living over here, coming over here, whatever, that if you do have any kind of open wound anywhere on your body, that needs to be covered up, protected, and wrapped in plastic, if nothing else.
Yes.
You know,
things grow here in the Philippines, mold, algae, it does that. The insects here, even going to the beaches, it definitely can affect your foot.
So you had the aforementioned like sore
Right.
or cut or
Yes.
whatever on your foot,
Yes.
and it got really ugly.
Right.
Okay.
It was normal for about a week, 10 days, and then boom, it exploded fast.
Was it painful?
No, I am pre-diabetic, so take care of your health better than I have. I'm overweight. I have a problem with my lower legs anyway because they're numb to begin with. It
Right.
didn't hurt at all because my foot is numb because of the diabetic neuropathy, I think they call it.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't help. The circulation with the pre-diabetic is not good. So all of that affected everything.
Okay.
So that was bad. They tended to that while I was at the hospital too. They were giving me diabetic medicine and antibiotic drip there. I was in the hospital for 7 days. So it was, quite an experience. Antibiotic drip, it got better over that 7 days, and they released me after the 7 days, but still kept me on antibiotics after that. But do tend to your wounds, do it faster than I did, yes.
Okay. And so you were at Holy Child.
Holy Child.
And what would you rate it as far as,
I mean,
honest assessment?
Again, I've never, ever been admitted to a hospital in my entire life. This is the first time
Really?
ever. Never.
Not in the States?
Never,
Nothing?
not once. I broke an arm one time, that's it. Never have I had a gallbladder, nothing, right? So I come to the Philippines, the first year I'm here, I'm in the hospital. Right? Great.
Yeah.
And of course I had insurance in America for 30 years and never
Right.
used it. Holy Child, It's different. Let me tell you a couple of things that you probably should know. You need a helper there. You need what they call a runner. You need somebody there to do things. My wife did all of that for me. She went home the first night that I was there, and the hospital panicked. Where's your wife?
Really?
She can't,
They want someone with you 24/7 pretty much, don't
They did, and since they were admitting me the first day, she needed to do things. But we have the child, so she went home and slept at like 10 o'clock. But they wanted her there at that point, and she tended to almost everything. You have to go buy all the medications.
Right.
You have to pay the bills as you go and things like this. So, and if you can't do that, somebody needs to do that. I went into a semi-private room for one day, and this room is bigger than that, and they had 4 patients in it, and they had 4 of these helpers in it, so it was chaotic.
Okay.
And almost all day long, these people were in there. That I didn't like.
Right.
After the second day, I got a private room, and it was just me and Nelma, so that was much better. But she did have to do everything, and they were there with her, instructing her to do all this stuff almost every day. So without a helper, it's really hard to navigate. That's number one. Excuse me. I did see that I'd asked the security guard about this when I left. He said there are people outside that will do this. One of the people in that semi-private room was hired to be a helper for somebody. The guy paid her, $5 a day, and that's a job that they have.
So let me back you up a little bit. If I was to go into the hospital tomorrow, and there's no one in my life that's going to be my helper, is there someone there that you can't hire? Who would you tell?
Again,
or
if
how
you're
would you ask?
incapacitated, I don't know how they would do that. And again,
Okay.
this is just my experience, so I
Sure.
don't speak for
Yeah,
everybody.
neither one of us are pretending to be experts here
Yes,
on this.
exactly.
It's just your experience.
That's right.
So
the guard said there are people there that he knows that
Okay.
you can get help from. And stuff.
Okay, all right. So that's just that place at that time.
It was.
So we don't want to say that that's a blanket
Yes.
thing that guys can
Right,
avail themselves of.
And I won't say also, again, I had her with money there too.
Right.
But it was pay as you go too. So I don't want to say they'll let you die in the hallway, but
They'll let you die in the hallway.
they might. I don't know. I don't know if they would have treated me fully. Now, again, I have a medical fund that I came here with, so that's okay. I guess if you have a credit card, that would be good too. So,
Okay.
probably you should think about that before you come and do.
Let's back up a little bit to the first time that you went into the emergency room. You had this issue. Dr. Yee came and examined you, correct?
Yes.
And decided to admit you.
Yes.
Now, did they say, okay, you're going to need to pay this much money to get into a room?
Not really. My wife asked that like the second day because she got into the details. The semi-private room was like 1,000 pesos a day, 20 bucks.
20 bucks.
The private room was 2,500 a day.
50
so
bucks.
50 bucks a day for a hospital room. So, and that was better because it was isolated. It had air conditioning too. The first room
okay.
didn't. So,
Yeah.
So that's just for the room and stuff. So it's very cheap. I was there for a week. All the antibiotic drips. They have like 2 doctors, a diabetic doctor and a foot doctor and a general doctor come in and see me every day. He cleaned the wound every day. Total bill was 117,000 pesos.
Okay.
So, and again, I paid every dime of that. $2,300, $2,300 for a 1 week holiday at,
from your holiday
at Holy Child. So
okay.
Again,
now, did they ever ascertain what it was that you had? Was it a staph or was it?
Oh, they did a test on the infection.
Yeah.
They had to send that out to Silliman Hospital because they
Sure.
don't have a lab. They actually have a lab there, but not to do that. I don't remember exactly what kind of an infection it was.
Okay.
It's in the paperwork, but I forget what it was.
But it was some kind of bacteria or parasite
definitely.
or something to that effect.
I think it was bacterial.
And did you feel confident when they were treating you that they knew what they were doing?
I mean, the first couple of days I was just, guy said 50-50 on taking the toes, so I was kind of panicking about that. So I was more worried about that than what it was and what. But it did get better every day a little bit. So about the third day, I think he was telling me that it's improving, so we're probably not going to have to amputate.
Okay. So other than the drip that they had going into you, they did not, if there were any other external medications that were prescribed, they did not bring them to you.
Oh, you had to get the drip too. You had to go buy that from the pharmacy.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay, I got to back you up a little bit. So Nelma had to go, he had to write it, let me just back up.
Yeah.
He had to write a prescription
Yes.
for a drip.
Yes.
Nelma took it to the pharmacy there on site.
Yes.
And then they gave it to her.
Yes.
And she brought it back.
Yes.
And then what happened?
Then they hooked it on.
And then they hooked it on. So that's
even a little bit worse than that. I think they replenish. I think they have a storeroom
Correct.
of these things, but I think they're replenishing from the pharmacy what I've taken out. So maybe they got it out of their supply.
okay.
However, there was 2 times that the pharmacy at the hospital didn't have the drugs that they wanted me to get. She had to go to an outside pharmacy to do that. Luckily, there's 3 or 4 around this hospital, right across the street and stuff. So.
And then food, drink,
Yeah.
snacks, that's all on
Yeah,
you.
that's where I lost a few of the pounds. They did feed me, but it's Filipino food, and
Oh, so they do bring you food.
they do 3 times a day. They had a schedule of food. You paid for it, of course. Filipino food, which I can eat about half of that. And I thought it odd because they were giving me all these diabetic drugs that they're giving me rice every single meal too.
That's
And I know
something.
rice is not good for a diabetic.
Right.
So, complex carbohydrates, not supposed to have.
Did you ever bring that up to them?
I asked the diabetes doctor, and she said, "Oh, a little won't hurt you." 3 cups a day.
So I haven't seen your foot. I'm not sure I want to. But is it on the mend? Is it okay?
Well, again, I did have a complication with it. It got better, and about 3 weeks later, it was an open wound for a month, right? And my wife would wash it and drain it and push stuff out of it.
Yeah.
When it sealed up, when it healed and everything got sealed, it blew up again. I got another infection. I had to go back about a month ago, and the guy cut my foot open again, drained out a cup of nastiness out of it again, put me back on antibiotics. I went actually Monday, and he said, everything's healed up now. It should be getting better, and it shouldn't do that. It's still swollen and red and about twice as big as my other toe is.
Is it really?
It is.
Have you considered a second opinion or going to a different doctor or hospital or specialist or anything like that?
Well, I mean, that's a good point. I really haven't. If it doesn't continue to heal, maybe.
Okay. Now I want to go on a sidebar here with you because I actually mentioned you, I think by name, in another video I did about being able to get about here and who should and who shouldn't move to the Philippines.
Right.
And you use a cane.
Yeah.
So how much does that factor into your lifestyle?
Well, I'm not Geo and run into waterfalls all the time. He tried to take me up this mountain to this thing.
Right.
That's not my lifestyle.
Right.
I go to where things are simpler. I stay at home a lot. My lifestyle isn't the adventurer's style.
I understand.
However, there are simple things like, you had mentioned the Paco Taco place.
Right.
And I know that place has there's like a 1.5 foot drop.
Yeah.
And that is hard for me to navigate.
Right.
So I tend to avoid places like that. I just avoid them.
Right. I would think that it would cut a lot of stuff out, like 60%
It's half.
of stuff.
It's half.
Okay. Fair enough. Because I was at Lee Plaza yesterday, and there's all these stairs up and down, in and out, all around. And there was a drop off that I didn't see coming. It just happens.
Yeah.
So for you to navigate, but all things being equal, do you still prefer it here as opposed to your life in the States?
Yeah, because again, I can retire here. I don't have to work. I'm not on a schedule. I can do what I want when I want to do it. So those things more than make up for some of the inconveniences, right?
Okay.
Now, if I'm in a wheelchair, I've seen a guy in a wheelchair here. I don't know how you do that.
I don't either.
Because that is, I seen him get assistance out of the van and right into a restaurant and stuff that was easily accessible. So maybe again, he has that problem somewhere else in his life too. Maybe he likes it here more than there also.
Yeah, he's just dialed it back and decided that,
But you would be extremely limited.
Okay.
Again, just simply using a cane, it's 50% here. So I mean, if you're in a walker or crutches,
And there's one other thing that I want to bring up that I was remiss about in my previous video, and I hope guys are hanging in through this point in this video, is that there's no 911 out here.
Oh yeah. No addresses either.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you had fallen down, the proverbial I've fallen and I can't get up, right? And there is no cell phone that you can grab and hit 911 for emergency services. So there's really a good chance, in my mind, that you would just die. If you don't have a significant other, a partner, a neighbor, a friend, someone that you're seeing with on a daily basis. Now, obviously, if you're unconscious, that's pretty much the same no matter where you are. You're not going to be calling anybody. But the point being is that there's no ambulance services out here. Those are all for hire. I mean, I see ambulances, but those are ambulances that have been called by the hospital or something to that effect. Or if someone sees you in the street and you've been in a motorbike accident, I imagine they can call a service. I believe there's an ambulance service you can call.
And you've driven around here enough to know that ambulance is going to take an hour.
That's my point.
And then another hour. And if it's the big ticket thing, you're going.
Yeah. So I don't want to be a negative Nancy here, but I do like to let the guys know the reality of life out here when it comes to your health and the health issues.
Yes.
So if you have underlying issues like you've got the diabetes, if you've got underlying issues like heart disease or anything else, I mean, I'm no specialist in medical stuff, but anything that's being treated on a regular basis where you might need to have immediate assistance or access to a certain medication. Again, I'm not trying to be negative, but you might want to give it a second thought, or just make sure that you've got plenty of it.
Or tell people what to do. I know you definitely are against that. I am too. Again, if somebody wants to do that, I'm all for that.
Sure.
Me, I'm the same way. When that moment comes, I welcome it. I don't welcome it, but it's going to happen.
Sure.
And it's going to be that time, whether I'm here or there. My lifestyle is better here now. I'm going to enjoy the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. And it will be a better life with my family and stuff here than it would be somewhere else where I have to continue working and doing other things and being on somebody else's schedule. So for that person, yes, think hard about what you're doing, but don't
let it stop you.
Don't
completely.
let it stop you.
Yeah, I agree. But it's good.
It's something to think about.
It's something to think about. Give some forethought to. Try to be as proactive as possible, I think would be the word. So like if you're on a special type of medication, try to verify that you can get it or bring plenty of it with you. And then the minute you get here, try to resupply again before you run out. Make a network of friends, I think.
Have somebody
or if nothing else, a neighbor, or hire a maid, someone that can make some calls, help you, etc., all that. So to recap, you were in the hospital for a week. They did take care of the issue. It cost you what, $2,300 US?
$2,300.
So
which is one day's stay in an American hospital.
Yeah, it's about that. Absolutely. And so you choose Holy Child, which is the hospital that I took May to. And I was really impressed with them. I mean, the surroundings is nothing to get excited about.
It's the Philippines,
it really looks
and the walls
funky,
got some dirt on it, and it has that look.
You're looking around like, I don't know. But this guy, when May was sick and she had an allergic reaction to something, took her to the exact same hospital. He got her into a room. Boom, boom, boom. I knew the guy. This was not his first rodeo. He knew 7 medications to give her immediately. Got her up and running within, 8 or 9 hours, I think. And it was a total of $50. But that's the thing is, you do need to have some money on your pocket at
Yes,
all times.
yes.
Again, I'm getting into the informational channel here.
I know.
But
I know.
one thing I've learned is when I leave the house, I try to leave with no less than 10,000 pesos in my pocket, just in case.
Yeah, credit card too.
Just in case that happens, and I need to get somewhere fast.
Last thing I'll mention is, again,
Please.
somebody like me, I didn't have any insurance. So I definitely,
Right.
after all of this, I have been now enrolled in PhilHealth. It's a limited thing.
Right.
You know, again, I think the biggest benefit to it is you show them the card and they won't let you die in the hallway again.
Right.
I think that's a good thing. I have a minimal insurance policy that I bought now too that will help some of these things. I should have done these before. My out of pocket, I got my wife, myself, and my daughter on all three of these plans. It basically is $900 for a year.
Okay.
I was paying that for 1 month in America.
Right.
Now I know it's not going to cover, you know, everything, but it will help me. So
Might
it's not
pick
that
up
expensive.
half or something like
Yeah,
that.
and
of a major medical.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Well, Jerry, thanks so much for letting me talk to you about this, because I did want to do a follow-up about some of the medical stuff out here, and it's nice to get the first-hand,
Yeah.
first-person report. So, what's the name of your channel again?
Again, just my experience. So don't take it for Jerry and Nelma in the Philippines. So
We'll stick a link in the description
thanks,
for you.
man.
Mark.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the channel.
My pleasure.